All right, welcome today, July 29th. And it's let's see about this. All right, today is July 29th, 2023, and I'm gonna take you through my lesson that I teach to my students. There are some activities. I'll just do them for you. These are meant to be interactive. If you're interested in learning with me, you can contact me, but I don't really have that much free time. So I'm starting you off right in the middle of my lesson because it continued from last week, and it's the rainy season here, and there's a lot of scorpions. I caught some large scorpions recently, these last couple of weeks. And I caught this little one, and I tell them the bite of this smaller scorpion is actually much more painful than that of bigger ones. Keep in mind, my students, I'm living here in Thailand, in northern Thailand, in Chiang Mai province, kind of an hour away from the city, in nature, and I'm always finding creepy little critters. So I like to share them with my students who are mostly from mainland China, and then I do some activities. So you might see this word here. What is this? Da-da! S. See, right here's the picture of it. The word is scrambled from the word we just learned. The word we just learned was S-C-O-R. You can do it along with me. Obviously, if I was doing the real lesson, this would be more interactive. That's right, scorpion. Scorpion is the word. And now you know how to spell scorpion. The next one, I like talking about my week. I cut down a tree because this tree was very close to my house. Gaton, I don't even know what that word is in English. It's a fruit that was falling on our roof. Our roof is made of aluminum. I figured after a long time it would fall, it might dent it, and then after it dents it, it would get little holes in it, and then when it rains, the rain would leak through and get on our leak from inside of our home. So how we did, so I did this. I'm going to share a short little video of this, and that'll look like, so I'll share this video here. This is just one of the branches. Oh, that was actually back. So before I got to that point, we got to this point, and hey, that's a dog. So here we go. We'll watch this. And my son was real cute. He was telling me to be careful, saying "Rawang na, Luke Papa," and so when I did here, I had already cut a little notch in it, and then I'm cutting from this side. This one was easy to fall because it was already leaning in that direction. So once you make that cut, it's gonna kind of naturally fall. And I had, but the second one was a little more difficult, but I did do it. I did get it, but it was actually caused me some troubles, as you can see here. The chainsaw actually got stuck in it. I tied this cord. That's like an electrical cord, has the metal fibers, copper fibers. It's not connected. I wasn't using electric wire that's connected to electricity. It was just, I had it. It's strong. So I figured I'll tie that to this tree. I tied the other end to another tree and made it as tight as possible so it wouldn't fall onto my roof. But I noticed I cut out a notch on this side. I learned from YouTube how to chop down a tree correctly. But it was kind of, they said don't do it like that when it's kind of leaning in the opposite direction. But I had to have it fall in this direction. So I tried it. As I chainsawed it, the tree kind of fell back on the chainsaw. It was too heavy. I couldn't do it. So I was trying to pull it from that cord. I couldn't do it, but my wife and I did it together by just kind of tugging at it. So we managed that. We managed that. So here's a little activity. There are four words here: branch, trunk, stump, and bark. And there are 4 pictures. Try to match those. I'll do it for you. Obviously, my lessons, that's something for my students to do. That first one is the trunk, and this is referring to this part of the tree, the long trunk that goes up. And then these ones are branches. You do see the branches, of course, in this picture, but I think it's clearly these are the branches here. And then this one is bark, the outside of the tree. Sometimes you can peel it off, is bark. Those are more oak trees. I don't have as many trees with bark on my land, but there are some. And then a stump, when you cut down a tree, it's a stump. That's a stump of the tree. Now, these 4 words also have other meanings in colloquial English speaking. So let's match them. The sound that a dog makes. Now, of course, it makes a sound, but we call that barking. A dog barks, the bark of a dog. An elephant's long nose, which is similar, that is also called a trunk, right? That big, long, thick nose, it's a trunk. We also call the back of a car, at least in America, we call the back of a car. You open the hood, that's your trunk. Or a big chest that you hold things in is a trunk. Although in the UK, they call that the boot. And a smaller section of a big company is a branch. Often with, we associate that with like banks, right? There's the big bank, and then there are lots of smaller satellite banks that you can walk in and do your services much easier, much more easily. And then those are called branches, right? Branches. And that makes sense. Actually, you think of the trunk as the main thing and the branches branch off. So there is a relationship there, but used differently. No, feeling of not knowing an answer, add ed to stump and stumped. If you say, I am stumped, if you're taking a test, or if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer, you can say, I'm stumped. That would be that one. So moving on to the next one, talking about robot waiters at MK. Of course, they have these waiters that are, I have a video, so I'll share this video with you as well. And in case you haven't seen this, so it comes on this this little robot. It brings you some food, but then you have a real person. He comes out and he puts it on the food. Similar to what some of my Chinese students, they love hot pot. This is kind of Thai style hot pot, I think. And then that leads us next to some critical thinking questions. I want you to share your thoughts. Of course, I'll just ask the question. You have to think about it on your own. The first one is, if you were the owner of a restaurant, would you consider using robots as waiters? What I'm really asking here is, what are the advantages and disadvantages to robots in the restaurant industry? Of course, that's kind of a boring question. I like to put my students in the place of the restaurant owner. You're faced with the challenge: do you have robot waiters? Of course, you can save money in some ways. You're not paying employees. Is that good for the national economy is another question. Of course, there are other things you have to consider as far as costs, the cost of the robots, cost of maintenance, all of that. Overall, I'd like you to think about that. That's critical thinking question for you to think about. Would you do it if you had a restaurant, or have you, or do you? What could be some potential solutions for those who might lose the job to automation? So you don't have waiters anymore. Although at first we saw the waiter could still come out and bring it. There may be other jobs, it may still be feasible for people to clean the place, clean up the food. Eventually robots can do it, maybe, but we're not really quite at that stage. And And then, of course, then there's technicians. And of course, even robots. Why can't robots fix other robots? But at this point, I think it's human maintenance. So that makes sense as well. The next question is, in what other industries do you think robots could be beneficial? And you could have seen these. You could have seen these in hospitals or hotels or movie theaters or all kinds of things, but maybe something you haven't seen. Do you have any ideas of what industries they could be in and what would they do? The next one is, what features would you like to see in the next generation of service robots? So again, this is kind of like maybe these ones where robots actually do have the hands. I've seen them in competitions and science exhibitions. You know, they can walk upstairs, they can open doors and jump and turn. This is kind of that next level. Those haven't really been integrated into mainstream society where they're actually functioning as in ways that humans can, but they could, right? And they probably will in the future. So in what ways, thinking about like hospitality and tourism, service, when I say service robots that can help serve you in ways that of course only people have, and the best thing is to think about the jobs that are maybe most difficult and the cheapest pay. There are some labor jobs, or obviously cleaning areas, or they, time working at nights or something, things that people maybe don't want to do. It's easy for robots, or as easy as any other job. And the last question here is, are there any areas of life you think technology should not be used, right? Should we just go gung-ho, everything AI, everything robots, everything? Or should we slow down? That question could obviously lead to all kinds of things. You're right. We see like scary movies. Obviously, it would be nice to give some authority to robots to, keep order in society. I can imagine all kinds of situations where I would feel safer with robots, knowing that, somebody can't kidnap my child or something. They could instantly be caught and seen and screened down and arrested. Obviously, those are things I would be all for, but we start giving authority to robots, giving them weapons, giving them the ability to arrest us and throw us in jail. At what point, could you, and then the judges and everyone, that the whole system is robots. And then is there any way out if they say that you've done something wrong? And I mean, how can you, it seems like this having some human element, even though in all reality, I think there are people jailed and convicted and even put to death in some situations unjustly. So there are many times when maybe the robots and AI could do a better job, but it's still scary to think about for sure. So the next thing, we went to this hot spring, Sangampeng hot springs, and I'll show you a short little video of this, and I'll talk about it. So let me share this screen with you too. And so here we are. We're there.
Where are we? Oh, Facebook.
100 feet. We're in Thailand, that much at least.
Yeah, there's some
hot springs,
real geysers over there.
I'd love to come here and winter people going on eggs. Get in. This guy right here is really. And there's a lot of things. So let me share my screen again. So I'll talk a little bit about some hot springs. But first, how do I go back to sharing my screen? There we go. All right. So I'm sharing my screen again here, talking about hot springs. First one is a little reading comprehension. I'll read it out loud. Obviously, my students would be the ones to read it. Hot springs are like magical pools of warm water that bubble up from deep underground. They're nature's cozy jacuzzis. Imagine soaking in a big bathtub, but the water is naturally warm and soothing. Hot springs are formed when water seeps down into the earth, gets heated by hot rocks, and then rises back up to the surface. People have been enjoying these natural spas for centuries. Did you know that some hot springs have unique minerals that make the water sparkle? So next time you visit one, relax, have fun, and feel the earth's warm hug. All right, so we look at these and different words. But before we go into the highlighted words, I just like making sure everyone understands. Jacuzzi, that's the name brand of something. So I always have like, I can show that up and look at the images, right? That's actually the brand name of these things. Sometimes we call them hot tubs, or sometimes these are even called spas. So they're like nature's cozy jacuzzis, and they're big bathtub. And we have word surface, right? Surface is the top, like the surface of my table is the surface top. A century is 100 years. Remember, a decade is 10 years. A millennium is 1,000 years. A century is 100 years. They say we've been enjoying spas for centuries, but I would actually say millennia, I am sure. Millennia being the plural form of millennium. I would say we've been using them much longer. I think they Greek talk about using them. The oracle is like sit there and actually breathe in some of the hot steam and get hallucinations and tell people their futures, and some interesting history there. Look it up. The oracle in Greece, like a fortune teller, a soothsayer that would tell many of the leaders their what would come. But I think they just actually would sit there and they'd have so many people asking them questions, they'd understand what was going on at a deeper level. And then you take this hallucinogenic steam that's coming up from the earth, and they're maybe able to make some realistic connections in the real world. I think there's some truth to it. So the 5 words, we'll actually look into them: cozy, comfortable, soothing, close to comfortable, but think of more like relaxing and calming, while cozy is more warm and comfortable. Seeps is kind of like absorb into, right? If something goes into your skin, you could put poison on your skin, and it could seep into your skin. That's obviously dangerous. I saw some different spies from different countries. They put like poison on the back of your neck, and it seeps into your spinal column and paralyzes you and kills you instantly. Seep, something to seep in. It can seep in. You put syrup on your pancakes, it seeps into the pancakes. Spas, again, spas has many different meanings. It can be like a jacuzzi, that one. It can be like when you go to a spa here in Thailand, you go get treatment. They put creams and rocks and all these water. The idea of spa is like a healthy way to relax and stay calm. It can take different forms. Exactly what is a spa? Minerals. We need minerals when we eat. I always do like a Google Translate for like my Chinese students, but obviously we could do it in any language as well. Get the different things. Minerals, of course, have different uses. It may be a different word in different languages, but the minerals we need to eat in our food, those are important. But also there's minerals in the ground that are more elements, part of the dirt, that are important in farming, as I'll talk about. Critical thinking question for this is: how might the experience of visiting a hot spring contribute to a person's understanding or appreciation of nature? So think about this, answer the question. I'm going to just go ahead and answer the question, but these are definitely conversation portions of my lessons. So some of the things that might come up are, for example, by seeing the way that the earth can provide natural ways to remedy our bodies and make us feel good, make us realize we don't need all of the technology all of the time. We don't need to go to a high-end spa to get pampered. Nature has it right here, and it may even be better. You hear the real sounds of birds, not just the recording from stereo speakers of birds, but actual birds. You feel the actual breeze, the warmth and all the minerals coming up from the earth are probably better than any spa, no matter how much, different salts and different sort of minerals they put into the water. As nice as those spas are, here we are in real life, and we're actually a lot of the time trying to recreate nature and then charge you for it. And sometimes the real thing is the best. So that's a good one. Matching these words here, keep in mind, cozy and soothing are very similar, could often be used interchangeably, but I would say no. In the first case, cozy, you can try to beat me and do it. I'm going to try to find the definition for cozy. I'll start with the definition. So let's read definition and then find the word. That would be easier. So to flow slowly and gradually like water, slowly trickling or leaking through tiny openings, right? That was seeps, right? I talked about how things can seep into your skin because you have pores on your skin. The next one is special places where people go to relax and enjoy treatments that make them feel good, like natural jacuzzi, like pools that have healing properties. And this one, of course, is the spa, right? A spa can be different forms, can be natural or created. Usually we think of them as recreated versions of nature. Warm and comfortable, like a snug and pleasant feeling when you get wrapped up in a soft blanket. Now that's cozy. That's definitely cozy. Although if cozy weren't there, I would say, oh, that's also soothing. So keep that in mind. They are, but cozy, I would definitely say the warm and comfortable. If you just looked at pleasant feeling is easily just as much soothing as it is cozy. But if we look at the words warm and comfortable, definitely cozy. Natural substances found in rocks and water, like tiny magical particles that can make the water sparkle and have benefits for your body. That's minerals, right? That's minerals. And then the last one, calming and gentle, providing a sense of relief and relaxation, like a gentle massage for your mind and body. That one is definitely soothing. Again, if soothing wasn't there, you could probably say, okay, cozy. But again, look at these, calming and gentle. That goes better with soothing. Warm and comfortable goes better with cozy. Similar, but definitely specific definitions there. Next one here. How are hot springs formed? The question is, when water evaporates and rises to the surface, when water seeps down into the earth, gets heated by hot rocks, and then rises back up to the surface, or when rainwater collects in large pools and gets warmed by the sun. Of course, it is B, right? When water seeps down into the earth, gets heated, and then bubbles back up, right? Evaporation, this word in the first one, water evaporation is, that's water going up into the clouds and then coming down as rain. When rainwater collects in a large pool and gets warmed up by the sun, that's just shallow water. The water's not seeping down, the sun is heating it up. I have other questions. What is a unique feature of some hot springs? Read your questions. They contain minerals that make the water sparkle. They have cold water that bubble up from the ground, or they are filled with sparkling soda water. I love soda water, but of course, they contain minerals that make the water sparkle. That would be unique. The word unique is like special, right? A special feature. A feature is an aspect or a characteristic, right? Laksana. And what is the suggestion for the next time you visit a hot spring? To run and play, to relax, have fun, and feel the earth's warm hug, or to take a quick dip and leave. Now, a quick dip, you could take a quick dip and leave, and you probably could run around and play, although I don't recommend it. It might be dangerous. But from the story, it specifically said to relax, have fun, and feel the earth's warm hug. Of course, that's an analogy. The earth isn't literally hugging you, but it is a good way to describe it. Now we can go back, fill in these words with minerals, spa, seep, soothing, and cozy. Fill in the blanks. I'll read it. Fill in the blanks if you can as we go. Hot springs are like magical pools of warm water that bubble up from deep underground. They're nature's cozy jacuzzis. Imagine soaking in a big bathtub, but the water is naturally warm and soothing? Or is it cozy? Warm and comfortable. Warm and cozy. We'll say warm and cozy again. See how soothing works, though. Soothing works, but let's read the next one. Hot springs are formed when water seeps down into the earth, gets heated by hot rocks, and then rises back up to the surface. People have been enjoying these natural spas for centuries. And did you know that some hot springs have unique minerals that make the water sparkle? So next time you visit one, relax, have fun, and feel the earth's warm hug. So again, go back. Yeah, they're nature's cozy jacuzzis or soothing jacuzzis. They're warm and soothing. I would say warm and soothing. Remember, so I did say it right the first time. Again, it's not like you couldn't use these interchangeably, but think about what is best. Cozy is usually warm and comfortable. Soothing is more like gentle and peaceful. So I would call these nature's, we'll call them cozy. Is that what we had? Let's make sure. I'm going to say, okay, we did use cozy jacuzzis. They're warm and soothing. Cozy is warm and comfortable. And we can say they're warm and soothing. We could interchange those, but we'll go with those ones, because warm, if you say warm and cozy, and people do say warm and cozy, but it kind of doubles up. Cozy already means warm and comfortable. So that's why we're going to use soothing in this case. But again, easily could use either one. Critical thinking question here. How might the experience of visiting a hot spring contribute to... No, we didn't. We already did that. We did all of those. We did all those questions. We're already here. Next one here. Another reading exercise. Again, my students are Chinese. I do world events, but I do tend to focus on some Chinese news if something is cool. This one really cool. A 16-year-old jump rope expert in China broke a Guinness World Book of Record by skipping 374 times in 1 minute. Guinness World Record said Zhou Qi from Yuyao City, Ningbo, broke Japanese jumper Daisuke Mumura's record of 348 skips in 1 minute, which stood for 10 years. Zhou, who previously applied for the record but had to start over due to Guinness World Records guidelines, said his new record isn't even his personal best. My best performance was 398 times in 1 minute, and that was done in the online part of the middle school division of the 3rd primary and secondary school students rope skipping championships in 2022. So he must have only been 15 at that time. That's what he told Guinness World Book of Records. I do have the link here where I got it, and I like to show that video as well. It's a TikTok video. I'll show you real quickly. There it is. I mean, when I jump rope, I'm standing straight up. But think about it. If you're trying to jump as many times as possible, you got to get low and do it like that. So, stepping back and forth, amazing. I mean, you're doing over 5 steps a minute. I mean, 5 steps a second for the entire minute. So that is definitely pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and see how I turn this into my lesson. First, I asked some questions, some reading comprehension questions. How old is the jump rope expert who broke the Guinness World Record? Correct answer is 16 years old. And what was the previous record for skipping rope in 1 minute held by Daisuke Mimura? And the answer was 348. What did Joe have to start over in the Guinness, or why? Why did he have to start over in the Guinness World Record attempt? He was too tired to continue. He broke the rope during the attempt. He failed to meet the record guidelines, or the judges disqualified his attempt. And the correct answer is C. He failed to meet the record guidelines. That is the answer. Next up, another one. Again, I don't always only do Chinese news, but 2 amazing things. Another Guinness World Book Record. I mean, I can't even do a single Rubik's Cube This kid here, or 22 years old, young man, he does 3 of them while juggling. Before we read this, just so it's hard. I want to show exactly. I want to show this just so you fully appreciate what's going on here. Quite amazing. This one is on YouTube here, and
in some R-E.
I'm not gonna show you the whole thing, but look, so he's juggling. See, they started out all mixed up. He's actually juggling, and as he's juggling, you have to watch this in slow motion. So I'm gonna. There he is. He's already correct. As he's going, right? He's able to solve them while he's juggling. And excuse me. Excuse me. All right. So here we go. I'm going to jump back to the lesson, and oh, I shouldn't have. I'm still sharing my screen. I forgot that that was actually still the same screen I was sharing, so I didn't need to stop sharing the screen, but that's all right. Here we go. So here we are. I'll read this. A Chinese speed cuber combined his puzzle-solving skills with his juggling proficiency to solve 3 Rubik's cubes in 3 minutes and 16 seconds while juggling. Li Jihao, 22, originally broke the record for fastest time to solve 3 rotating puzzle cubes while juggling in 2022 when he completed the puzzles in 3 minutes and 29 seconds. He took on the record for a second time on the set of Guinness World Records Italian TV series and shaved 13 seconds off his previous time. So he broke his own record, actually, in this case. Lee, an accomplished speed cuber, also holds the records for most rotating puzzle cubes solved while suspended upside down, most rotating puzzle cubes solved using one hand while suspended upside down, and fastest time to solve a rotating puzzle cube by a team of 2 underwater. So those are different records he holds. And let's ask some questions regarding this. A little more difficult on this one. I like to increase in difficulty as I go. What does speed cuber mean in the context of the article? A fast runner who competes in cube-shaped races. It doesn't sound very good. An individual who solves Rubik's cubes quickly and competes in cube solving competition. That sounds good. Let's read them all. A professional juggler who incorporates puzzle-solving tricks into their act, or a mathematician who studies the geometry of cube shapes. Now, those last 2 could be true in some cases. It's definitely B, an individual who solves Rubik's cubes. That is the speed cuber. That's what he is, a speed cuber. He does juggle, but he's not a professional juggler. He's not a professional underwater basket weaver, or those are just extra things he did to make it more difficult. But he is someone who solves Rubik's cubes. Those are the names of those. Next question is Li Jihao. Of course, I mispronounced the names. He shaved 13 seconds off his previous record. What does shaved mean in this context, right? Because I shave my beard. Actually, I don't shave my beard, not very often, but to shave, right? You can shave hair and off it. What does it mean to shave time? Pretty much the same thing, right? Look at all those questions. It's not about shaving your hair, having a nice haircut before you go. It's B, reducing your time. Shaving off 13 seconds means 13 less seconds, not adding 13 seconds and not attempting 13 times before going there. The next question is, what is the meaning of suspended upside down as used in the article? I talked about a little bit. Suspended upside down, basically, it literally means, go ahead and read those questions. The first question is right. You're hanging from a rope attached to the ceiling. You're solving it upside down, right? Not solving it with hands above your head, not upside down juggling. That doesn't even make sense unless you're like in a spaceship and gravity zero location. Still seems pretty difficult. Maybe you could juggle helium balloons upside down. Wow, maybe. Being in a state of disarray during puzzle solving attempts. That's not it. Definitely A. A is the correct answer. And next one, what does proficiency mean as mentioned in the article? Does it mean the ability to solve puzzles quickly, the state of being highly skilled or competent, the act of performing juggling tricks with ease, or the skill of solving Rubik's cubes using one hand? Although those are all true and related, we're just talking about the word proficiency. Let's make sure we see it. A Chinese speedcuber combined his puzzle-solving skills with his juggling proficiency to solve 3 Rubik's cubes in 3 minutes. Again, proficiency does not mean you're an expert. Proficiency means you're capable, you're competent, you're able to do something well enough. So he's a proficient juggler. I'm not a proficient juggler. I've tried. I've like done maybe one time, but and then I drop him. So he's definitely a proficient, but like a professional expert juggler. They're juggling 9 flaming torches or something. That's not what his specialty is. He is proficient. Proficient means you're good, but maybe not great. So there we are. So again, the word proficiency has nothing to do with juggler. It just means being capable, or in this case, competent or highly skilled. So we could even say he's great. Sure, I'll say he's a great juggler, but he's not like he's competent. He's more of a competent juggler. He's skilled enough to do it, but that's not his specialty. I don't think he's juggling 9 flaming torches or swords or something. But he could maybe if he practiced enough. So Li Jihao completed the puzzles in 3 minutes and 29 seconds. What does the word completed mean in this context? He attempted to solve the puzzles but was unsuccessful. He solved all the puzzles within a given time frame. He solved the puzzles but did not finish them, or he skipped some of the steps during the puzzle solving process. Right? He completed them, of course. It's B. Again, he solved all the puzzles within the given time frame. All right, so there you go. If you like that, this was my first one. I might get better on my presentation, but this was just an idea I had talking with my wife and stuff. I mean, I'm doing these every week, so I'm going to give one every week. I have my students are Chinese students. If you're interested in doing a lesson with me, I might have availability. But basically, I figured I'm just going to give these as free tutorials on YouTube. Welcome to my channel. Of course, I do lots of other things like farming and taking family events, specifically in the Chiang Mai region. I'll also be uploading some of my podcasts. I'm just figuring, hey, let's just do it all do it big. All right, so that's that. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. See you next week. I'll do another one.